I love Corday.
Funny thing about Corday, I actually had like a song with him on like my first EP.
Okay.
But it was before he was Corday. Like I found out about Corday through YouTube. He did like a rap parodies on it wasn't like his channel. He was just like a guest on it. I think it was called Love Live Serve or Long Live Serve or something like that.
What's going on? Ziza Connection. First episode of 2021. We took some time away from the Ziza Connection podcast to get the other show that we have going on called Don't Talk to Strangers up and running. First episode of that is out. Go check that out if you haven't already. But there's no better way to ring in 2021 than with 602 The Prophet. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm about to move. Like, I think this year is going to be a lot better than last year. I mean, I had a good year, but the rest of the world didn't. I had a pretty great year.
I was going to say the baseline for 2020 was not that high, so let's hope we do better no matter what.
Yeah.
So, actually, you've been hitting me up for a while trying to get on the podcast.
Yeah.
Let me ask you why.
Well, like, I kind of watched it before, and then, like, I DM'd you about it, or I was like, oh, is there, like, because I mainly only watched, like, the ones where you had, like, rap guests.
Right.
I haven't, like, I've dove into, like, other ones where, like, you talk with, there was, like, one where you talk with, like, a medical guy, you talk with a soccer player and stuff, and I was like, oh, cool, he talks, like, everybody.
Yep.
So, that's what made me, like, interested in it.
For sure. And yeah, you were super persistent, like a cool guy, and I've also heard your name around the rap community here and there from time to time.
That's
so cool. I'm assuming that's part of what made 2020 so good for you was what happened with the rap and with your music career. Am I correct?
Yeah, I actually didn't put out a lot of music in 20. I just put out like a couple songs, but like one of those was like the best streaming it's ever. Like it hit like it was called Different Paths. It hit like I think it's like a 13,000 streams. I've never had a song
go
on
over
a major
10,000.
platform go over like 10. Like I've had like one song on SoundCloud. It's like 20 or 30,000, but it's like I ain't getting like no monetary anything for SoundCloud.
Right.
But that was like a cool feat for me. I shot like a couple of videos this past year.
Right.
It was fun.
Yeah. So you just been focused, man. You've been really, really focused.
It's been planning a lot. It was like most of that year was more of me like working on a project and then me just like planning on like, okay, what can I do? Because, you know, shows aren't a thing. And like what other content ideas can I do? Like, could I do freestyles in my car? Could I like do like a cover of a song that I really like, or just figuring out other ways to like get it out there?
Freestyles in the car would be some real old school shit that I absolutely love. Like I used to love like maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. It seemed like everybody was doing a different freestyle in the car with like the distorted sound because they were using their camera audio and all that shit, which is awesome.
I did a couple this year. I think what I did, because I think it was before I even had the new iPhone. So I had like a very shitty Android, so I couldn't use that. So I had like an iPad like set up like the wheel was like basically like my camera stand. I would have it up like that, and I would just like play the music from my phone through like the car speakers.
Bro, you get it done how you need to get it done.
I liked it though. I was kind of like, this is way cooler than like recording in the studio in my opinion.
That's what I'm saying. You get it done how you need to get it done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you said you were moving. You're going to New Orleans. Yeah. And I also saw that on the cover of the project that you sent me over.
Yeah.
That project is not out yet. Am I correct?
No, it's not out yet. Okay. It's going to come out this month, like the 29th.
Okay. This will be out before then. This should be out in the next week. So go pre-save it.
Yeah, Spotify pre-save. It's on All Sides of the Story.
Okay, All Sides of the Story by 602 The Prophet.
Yeah.
So go pre-save that. But I saw on the cover art, it was kind of like a sketched, like actually physically drawn cover art.
Yeah, it was painted,
Yeah, and it had a Suns jersey and a Pelicans jersey.
Yeah.
So what is the story with you and, you know, obviously 602 The Prophet, 602 being Arizona.
Yeah.
What is the story with New Orleans?
So I don't go to that school no more, but I went to college out there for like literally a semester.
Okay.
But like I really liked the city, and I also met like all those people that like produced like those beats were all kids I met from my college.
Got you. Did you go to college for music or were you studying?
I was going for this is the name of the major. It's really funny. It was called Urban Music, I think it was called. It was like EDM and urban music production major or some shit. It was some bullshit for saying rap. Like
They always got to find something to like
Yeah,
make it sound.
it was a really cool program, and I still have friends that go to that school and in that program. Like, shout out the people there.
Right.
But it just wasn't for me. I'm really good at school and shit. I just was just like, yeah, I'm gonna go back to this maybe later.
You're like, maybe school's not the route I need to take to pop off with my music.
It was kind of more like even before I went to university,
Right.
like before I was thinking of probably going to community or going to like Crass or some shit.
Gotcha.
I actually have like I literally just got my associates like this because I just finished a semester like at South Mountain Community.
Right.
So I got like a general associates just so I can like get my mom off my back a little bit.
I feel you.
But
Respect.
yeah, got that for her, and then I'm gonna take a gap year, see how that goes, and then maybe go back to school. But
So why are you going back to New Orleans?
I just really, really like the city. Like you can just like feel like the energy and culture when you're there.
It's like good vibes.
The food's good. I like the people there.
The food. You have to say the food, man.
Bro, it is. Everyone's like, oh, it's because of the seafood and shit. I'm like, I don't even like seafood. There's like, no matter what you get, it's gonna be good there. Like
Right.
the only thing I can't find that's good there is like a good pizza place.
Right.
That's not like a chain or some shit. But I'm like, wow, I can live without that.
Yeah. That's fair. That's
I'm
fair.
sure if I look harder, I can find one.
That's fair. So I want to get a little bit more into the actual music. So you sent me that project and I was listening to it, and I'll be honest, that's the first of your music that I've ever listened to prior to, right? And you have this very aggressive undertone, right?
Yeah.
You got a deep voice.
Yeah.
You hear it. You
I
know
call
what
it
I mean?
the black and mild voice. That's
the
what I
black
call it.
and mild voice. I like
Where
that.
like it's just deep and raspy, and it's
Yup.
like you shouldn't be like doing this.
Yeah, it almost sounds like you should have been with Odd Future back in the day. You know what I mean?
I was actually like I was really big into Odd Future, but but when they were out, I was like in middle school, so I was like fuck this and fuck that, like in like 6th or 7th grade though.
Right.
And I still love Earl. I still like Tyler. I don't like as much of his newer stuff, but I still see Tyler as an inspiration. I love that group too. There was like Haji Beats, who like he still makes music. And I like Damo Genesis from there.
Right.
So yeah, I can see that.
So would you say that outside of Odd Future, let's say Odd Future was one of your influences,
Yeah.
who else is a big influence to you?
Tupac and like Isaiah Rashad and like MF Doom who just passed.
Okay.
So RIP.
Yeah, rest in peace, man.
Well, not just passed, like October, I guess. But
Right.
still.
Rest in peace to MF Doom for real. Yeah. His name started trending again on Twitter and on Instagram and stuff recently.
Like 3 years, 4 albums been on like the top 10 on the iTunes charts too.
That's crazy.
Because of it and everything.
That's crazy. Okay. And where did the idea for both sides of the story come from? So what is there actually a story?
Yeah, actually. Like if you like listen like all the way through, like you can kind of, especially like I feel like it's not easy if you don't like know me personally, but I feel like if like a family member or like a close like childhood friend heard it, they'd be like, "Oh shit, I know what you're telling me."
Right.
But I feel like if you're like a casual listener or a fan, you probably won't get it fully. But it's kind of like me, like that whole project's kind of like just like my adolescence and like teen years.
Right.
But like sometimes it's scattered where it's a little bit younger, and sometimes, but like the beginning part is like more when I'm younger, where I'm like more angry at the world, and I'm more like fuck the world. And the middle is kind of like me in the present, and then towards the end is me like towards the future.
Right. So it is a little chronological.
Yeah, it's a little chronological. Sometimes it's like a little scattered in the timeline, but it's pretty like chronological. Like that's why like the album has like different sounds in it too. Like you'll hear stuff that's like super aggressive, and then you'll hear something that's like jazzy.
Right.
Or like you'll hear something that's just like, this is beautiful.
Right. How old are some of these songs? Like have all of these been done in the last year? Or like are some of these way thrown back from projects or songs you made from years and years ago?
None of them were like made, like none of those songs were like made for like a different project or like
right.
But they were either made in like the past year or two.
Okay.
And some of them were like because sometimes like the way my writing works, sometimes I won't write to a beat. Sometimes I'll just write like I'll just write a bunch, and then like I'll talk to my producers and I'll be like, I need a beat that's something like this.
Right.
Or like I'll rap them like an acapella, and I was like, can you build a beat around that? Or
so you already have the cadence and the flow in the back of your head when you're writing.
Yeah, that's kind of how it works. I mean, I write more to beats now, but like that's how I started.
Right.
And then like I still do that. Like just recently, oh excuse me, it's all
You're
that
good,
water.
Yeah, bro, you're good.
But just like recently I was going through like writer's block, and then like I was like at work or something, and I was like, oh, lyrics just popped in my head.
Right.
Lyrics popped in my head. Like sometimes that happens. Like it's funny. Like I'll like if you look at my notes is funny. Cause like I'll be like going through it and it'll be like literally like 1 or 2 lines, and it won't be a song or anything. It's literally just like, oh, that's a hard line,
Right?
That I'll probably use eventually,
or something you can build off of at the end of the
or
day.
I can build off it. It's kind of like a weird like outline draft of a song, but it's not complete.
Right. You have a couple pieces of it there, but it's not really a full song quite yet. Yeah, I feel you. And what about producers? Do you have like a set group of producers? Like you said, the producers for this project are guys that you went to school with.
It was 4. Yeah, I worked with 4 total producers, and all 4 of them I met through Loyola. So the one who did most of the production was Bobby IDK.
Okay.
He produced like 8.
I think he's
7 out of 12. He produced some stuff for Jalopy Bongos.
I was gonna say I've heard his name before.
I connected those two.
Gotcha.
But yeah. So his real name is like Freeman. He's not Bobby at all. It's really funny. I love explaining that to people.
Right.
Because like people who don't know, they'll be like, "Oh, Bobby," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's not his name."
That's not his name though.
Like it was just like the way he came up with that name is stupid too. He was just like, "Let me just say Bobby." I don't know because I don't know what my producer name is. Like that's kind of how he came up with it.
That's a hard name though. You think about it. Like, that's kind of a hard name.
It is, especially with like the tag, because his tag is like this James Brown sample where it's like James Brown being like, "Bobby, I don't know," and it's like, and then just a hard drop or some shit. Okay. But he's from Baton Rouge, which is like an hour and a half away from New Orleans.
Right.
And then like he went to New Orleans for school, and that's how we met. And we stayed in the same like dorm building. Like I was like on the 9th floor, he was on the 11th floor. So I'd always be in his room and just be like beats.
Right.
And shit.
Like what you got for me, bro?
Yeah.
What did you cook up last night?
Yeah. So that's how I met him. And then the one who made the second amount of beats, his producer name is, I don't know if I'm gonna pronounce it wrong. It's either Wessex or Wesex. I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't come up with it, but his name's like Wyatt Pinto, and the funny thing is he don't even like he produces, but it's not like his main passion. Like he's really like in this band called Sweetheart.
Okay.
And he's like the main guitar player and like vocalist in that.
Interesting.
And then he also does like other stuff like musically. Like he kind of like he produced more like for a hobby, or it was like a little fun passion. And then like I'm kind of like the one that's like, I need to rap on this.
Yeah, I feel you.
So like he's starting to like do the production route more and more and work with other artists now.
It's interesting that he's good at the production side when he's like mainly so I'm assuming he started with guitar and then he started dabbling with production.
Well, the crazy thing about him and Bobby IDK, they're both like that. So
interesting. The
reason why like Freeman, like Bobby IDK is so good, like he was a jazz percussion major when I met him. He like switched over now, but like he's like a drummer.
Okay.
And like if you listen to his beats, it makes sense with the jazz influence, because I'm like his beats have hella time signature changes, or like something in it might not be necessarily like on beat, but there's still like this like implied rhythm to it. Like you'd still feel a groove in it, even though it might not be like right on the downbeat or tempo or whatever. Right. So that's why I like his shit so much. Yeah, they were more like real musicians before they stepped into the producer route. The funny thing, Freeman's only like Bobby IDK has only been producing for like a year and a half or 2.
And all these guys, I'm assuming all these guys use Fruity Loops. All these are FL produced. No, really?
They fucking hate FL. Well,
they're Ableton guys or what?
All 3 of them are Ableton guys, and the other one he uses on Machine.
That's interesting, because I know a lot of EDM producers, and all of the EDM producers for the most part are Ableton producers. Yeah. They all like Ableton more. But most of the producers that I know who do hip hop use FL.
Yeah.
So that's interesting that none of them use FL.
Yeah.
Have they ever told you what they don't like about it?
I think it's just like
the stigma.
It's definitely a stigma and like a superiority complex ego thing. And I've joked about him with it, because I'm like, you can create crazy shit in FL, and it's funny because some of the producers they look up to, who they're like, oh, these are like the gods.
They're
using
FL.
fucking FL.
That's what I'm saying.
And I make fun of them for it.
Dude, you ever watch the YouTube videos where dudes do breakdowns of their beats of like, hit songs? And
like
songs?
on Genius and stuff.
Like 85% of them are using Fruity Loops.
They're either using like FL or like Logic, and then like they'll probably use Ableton.
That's true.
It's not like Ableton's hard. It just looks so different and like weird, but they explained it to me. It's like you really have to like it if you're willing to do the weird route. So like I don't fully understand, because I'm more of like the writer artist kind of dude than the production route, but I kind of get it.
Right. Did you do the production for your project in your house, or did you have a studio that you're working out of?
Some of that because because a lot of that was recorded at the college studios just because I was a student there. Some of it was recorded in like my friends' like bedrooms in their dorm or like in their house.
Right.
Some of it was recorded like at an actual studio. Like it was recorded everywhere.
Right.
Like some of it was recorded in Phoenix. Some of it was recorded in New Orleans.
How do you feel about the different locations that you recorded at? Like, did that make a difference in how you think the songs came out? Do you think like your recording location makes a difference for you? Or can you really just bust out anywhere?
I feel like I can bust out anywhere, but I also, it's like, this is kind of like the first like project or experience in general where like I'm bouncing around recording.
Right.
Because it was mainly like in the past, it was like I only go to this studio.
Right.
And I only work with this engineer. But like, this is like the first time I've ever experienced where I'm like, okay, I'm recording here and here and here. I actually liked it because I don't know. I feel like it put me like in a different mind state, I guess.
You had a different headspace for every song you were making.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then working with different engineers. What's that like?
Yeah, this was the first time I worked with more than one. Like I worked with 3 engineers total on this album.
Right.
One of them, he did the most engineering. His name's Definition of Tones. He mixed like 10 out of the 13.
So he did most of it.
Yeah, and he mastered like the whole album. The other one is Bag of Tricks Cats, who was like pretty much like my mentor. Like I've been working with him since like 17.
Right.
Only reason why he didn't work so much on it was part of it is because I was in New Orleans, but when I got back to Arizona, like his studio had flooded because like some pipes busted in the bathroom area or whatever.
Just unlucky.
So he had to rebuild and it took forever. So I met the Tones like in June of this summer.
Right.
And I was like all the songs were pretty much recorded and done when I met him. So it was pretty much just me providing the stems and just sitting in on the mix sessions and everything like that.
Making sure it comes out the way you want it to.
Yeah.
How does that go when it comes to like actually finalizing a song? Like, how do you know it's done? Because I've heard a lot of dudes say like they finish something and then they come back to it and completely change the song over. Like, is that ever something you've had to deal with? Or do you just kind of like, once you're settled on it, you're done and you're good?
I feel like it's never done.
Okay.
Like I watched, it was like, I was Lil Wayne, I think. He's like, everything I've ever put out was never finished.
Fair enough.
Like he said some shit. And I think that's just like, I think all artists feel like that in a way. Because it's like, they'll probably like, once it's out, they'll probably listen to it and be like, damn, I probably could have done this, or we could have mixed it this way, or maybe we should have. Because I feel like, especially with a lot of artists I listen to, like they'll have like 100 different versions of like the same fucking song.
Right.
Like even like with like Michael Jackson, like they had like 100 different mixes on like one of his songs, and they ended up going with like the second mix.
And you know what's interesting about that too is that I feel like once you get into a place where you're working with record labels and you got other people listening to it and other people's hands are in it, I'm curious to know what it is that they're looking for specifically in a specific mix or a specific, version of the song that they would go with rather than something else. You know what I mean? Like, what is it exactly that they're looking for as the difference maker, the real difference maker?
I feel like when it's like a label looking at it or like some type of situation like that, I don't think they're looking to be like, is that hi-hat too loud? I think they're more like, is this commercially ready? Is this mixed to like industry standard? I don't think they're really like,
it's much less about
there's
the
too
art.
much distortion in this or some shit. Like,
right. It's much less about the art for them.
Yeah. I feel like you could like send like 2 different versions of the same song and it'd still be like there's no difference, and they probably wouldn't be able to tell. They'd probably be like, oh, you did change something.
Right.
I don't think they're knowledgeable about stuff like that. They're more of like the business ends of things than the actual like art of it. Yeah.
I understand that. And do you see yourself signing with a label in the future? Are you trying to stay independent?
I want to be independent I want to be as independent as long as I can. Right. Obviously, like, it's nice. I just want to make sure, like, the terms and conditions on that contract are, like, good. And, like, that's part of the reason why I was grateful, because when I was going to Loyola, I'm sorry.
You're good, bro.
They taught me a lot of stuff about like the business side of things. Right. So I was like, now I got an LLC. So if anyone wants to sue me for some shit, they're not suing me. They're suing my LLC.
Dude, that's huge. Huge.
Like now I understand like certain like contract terms. I'm like, what's an album cycle? What's an advance? What's like a royalty rate? Like things like that.
Right.
So I feel like I have enough knowledge where like I could probably like read a contract without a lawyer, or like pick out things. But I probably still get like an entertainment lawyer.
Like always have a lawyer look over your shit.
Yeah, I'd probably have an entertainment lawyer.
It's
but
still
I'm like,
good that you have,
knowledgeable.
you have like a base level understanding of
what's
how
a
that stuff
sunset
all
clause,
works.
like shit like that. Yeah.
What is a sunset clause?
I mean, that's more like if you have like a management contract, that's not really like a label contract. So
Got
like
you.
the sunset clause is like, say you sign a contract with a manager, basically like towards the end, like you kind of go your separate routes. But like, there's no like issue. That's why it's like sunset. Like as you guys keep building and growing, eventually you guys are gonna end up going your separate ways.
Right. And everyone keeps.
Yeah, everyone keeps it. There's no bad blood or anything. It's just like it's just business at that point.
It's interesting that they gotta put a clause in for that kind of a thing.
There's a lot of weird shit,
especially in the music industry, man.
I was wondering too, because I was talking to one of my video friends. I was like, because he does shit for like films, like he'll actually go for like film studios and stuff like that. And I was like, is it as corrupt in the film world?
Right.
And he was like, fuck no, it's way more corrupt in the music world. Because he was telling me how like sometimes he has, because like he'll shoot like a video for like a big artist or something.
Right.
And now he's like in a battle with the label trying to get paid for that video.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's the intellectual property rights and all those different kinds of things is such a bitch in today's world. It's just, it seems like it should be something that makes enough sense. Everyone has respect for one another's work, and like, you know, you get paid for the work that you do.
You would think common sense would be a good thing.
Or just like a little bit of love and appreciation, man. Like I put my heart and effort into this. You should be paying me for what I do.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to jimp everyone out and like get the upper hand and make
it's like,
money
what
off
can I
of
get
them.
out of you?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so who have you been working with in the Arizona scene? Like who are your close hip hop friends in Arizona?
I don't think I'm like really like quote unquote friends. It'd be more like acquaintances. I've had people like in the scene like open up for my shows and stuff. Like shout out Pride Pete, Mastermind, Shrubhead. Like I've done songs with Shrubhead.
Shrubhead's a battle rapper too, right?
Yeah, he battle raps and then he makes music too. I think he's more focused on the battle rap stuff right now. But
right, seems like battle rap's growing quite a bit in Arizona.
I think it's mainly because those four, like with Bungus and Shrubhead, Mastermind, because they were all in like a rap group at one point too called 20 Pounds.
I did not know about that.
They kind of like, it's not that they came up together because I don't think they were like childhood friends or anything, but like they came up together like in the rap shit.
Right.
But yeah, I think they brought like a whole new intensity to it. And I want them to get even more competitive with it. I'm like, y'all need to get the fuck out of Arizona and get in a real league or like compete with like some of the best. Cause I'm like, bro, it's like a professional team battling like a JV team at best. And it's just straight slaughter. That's why everyone's getting 3-0 that they face.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right. I was supposed to go to Jalape's last battle rap, but I had some family stuff that came up. But anyways, that was really interesting to me that battle rap is as big as it is, because I didn't know prior to meeting people like Jalape that was a thing. I didn't know that battle rap was still a thing. Because like you hear about it, you see the 90s rap movies, everyone was involved
like Smack
in rap.
DVD and shit like that.
You see all that kind of shit and you think, okay, well, battle rap is like over. No one really does that anymore. But like the more I'm hearing about it, like people are really into it.
I don't think like it ever died. I feel like at one point it's like it was like a lot weaker. Like I feel like 90s, 2000s was probably like the peak.
Right.
But I feel like around like 2010s era is like where it was like we can make some money off this and like really like do this, where it's like a whole new thing. Cause I'm like, you got like Drake investing in I think it's King of the Dot. I think that's the battle league that's in Canada. Okay. Like you got,
I think he invested in like an app or something, like a video app that you can like watch battle raps and stuff on too.
I think it's like Caffeine or
Caffeine app. Maybe it's a
I know what you're
app.
talking about though. I forgot what it's called. I think it's like Coffee or Caffeine or something like that.
I think it's Caffeine app. I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was interesting to me. And especially like I've never seen the closest thing to battle rap that we've ever gotten in mainstream hip hop is like when dudes are beefing with each other and they're putting out songs, you know what I mean?
I can't think of like any person that ever made like, I guess you could say like some old rappers made like the jump from like battle rap to like rap, but I'm like, I can't think of anyone where it was like they were really, really cemented into battle rap and then they're like, all right, now I'm gonna do this rapper shit now.
I'll be completely honest, man. Like I've listened to a few battle rap or watched a few battle rap videos on YouTube and stuff like that. For example, I've seen a bunch of shoddy horror stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Shoddy Horror dropped like some albums, some real music.
Yeah.
I listened to those and I was not into it.
Yeah, a lot of battle rappers aren't good at making
actual music.
Well, it's like it's two different arts.
Right.
Like I feel like in battle rap you could also get away more with like some whack bars. Cause sometimes I'll hear like a battle rap bar and I'm like, bro, this shit is so corny.
Yeah.
But I'm like, cause there's a lot of theatrics and like crowd control what goes with it too. So I'm like, you could even have some weak lines, but if you got that crowd control
and you're a showman.
Yeah, and you're like a showman because like you'll see dudes like dressed in like a different outfit or some shit when they pull up. Like you'll have some dude dressed like as a doctor or some shit.
Right.
And then like, I'm gonna battle rap. It's like,
right.
So I'm like, there's a lot. It's performance art.
That's what I was gonna say. There's a lot more theater involved with battle rap than there is actual rap. Some of that shit's cold though still.
Oh, for sure.
You hear some of those bars and you're like, that was mad disrespectful.
I could never do it because I'd be like, I'm the type where I'm like, bro, we gonna have to go outside. I'm like, I think it was
somebody brings up somebody's mama or sister. It was
like
shit.
A comedian or some shit that talked about it. I think his name was like Teddy Ray or some shit, and he did like a stand up about it. And he was like, bro, I know why Biggie and Tupac got killed. If someone said my shit like that and they made it rhyme, oh hell no. I was like, I laughed because I was like, I get it, bro. Imagine someone saying something disrespectful. But it's like, it's a song and it rhymes. Like, I think that's even like a newer level of disrespect.
Like, you put as much thought into it.
You put so much thought into this. You made a whole ass song about me. Like, you weren't even like on IG on my comment section or some shit. You made a whole ass song about me.
And you made it sound good. I think that's why people got mad at Drake. And like,
Drake made a club hit that's a diss track.
There you go.
To back.
Dude, you said it. And no one's ever done that kind of, I mean, let me think here.
I'm trying to
I don't know if anybody else has really done like a diss track that went that big.
I think, yeah.
Pusha's song went big, but it didn't go big in the
diss tracks than that. But I'm like, one that was like also kind of like a hit too.
Yeah.
I can't really think. I still be bumping Hit 'Em Up to this day.
What do you think is the best diss track ever? Like the hardest diss track, hardest hitting diss track?
I don't know if I can give you one. I could probably name like top 3 though.
Go for it.
One. Probably No Vaseline by Ice Cube.
Okay, fair enough.
2, I'd say Hit 'Em Up.
Okay.
3, this is gonna be a funny one. Gucci Mane on Young Jeezy.
From like recently?
This was years ago, and it's funny because they had a versus battle, and Gucci Mane was still hella disrespectful. So
I saw the versus battle.
It's not like it's a good diss track, but like the backstory about it makes it so good that I'm like, yes.
Okay, so what happened?
So it's this is very disrespectful. I shouldn't even laugh. But so I might even explain this wrong, but if anyone wants to correct me if I'm wrong or whatever,
drop it in the comments.
Yeah. But I think the backstory is like they got him and Gucci Mane and Jeezy, they got into some beef. I guess like Jeezy like put like a hit on Gucci Mane to get him killed.
Okay.
And it's like one of Jeezy's friends named Pookie, I think is the name or some shit.
Okay.
So Pookie goes after Gucci Mane. Gucci Mane kills Pookie in self-defense, goes to trial for it, beats the case on self-defense, then makes a diss track about it and like says like in a line like, yeah, I smoked your homie and I beat the case. Dude. So I'm like, I don't think that song's really that good, but like that backstory alone, I'm like, yeah, that's one of the.
How come I didn't know about that? I didn't know Gucci actually did that. I feel like
a lot of people don't know about that. Like to this day, I feel like some people got enlightened because of the versus battle. Because when they did the versus battle, Gucci Mane performed that track, and like the whole time was like, we smoking on that Pookie pack over here.
And this is after Gucci got out of jail.
This when he killed that guy, I think it was even before he did the jail shit. Because this was like early 2000s. I want to say somewhere around like 06, 08 when he did this shit. Yeah,
I remember when Gucci got out of jail. Actually, I remember seeing the article because I was sitting in the airport and it was during the summer. I was getting ready to leave to go back to Iran with my family. Yeah, and I was sitting next to my sister. I was like, "Yo, Gucci just got out." We were all hyped up about it and everything. Yeah. And he dropped. Oh God, what song did he drop? First Day Out or whatever. He dropped First Day Out and we were all like, oh my God, Gucci's back. So who do you think out of there's like this new era of rappers, right? Over the last 3-4 years has really cemented themselves as artists that are, most likely going to stick around. For example, like Cordae is one of them for me. I love Cordae.
Funny thing about Cordae, I actually had like a song with him on like my first EP.
Okay.
But it was before he was Cordae. Like, I found out about Cordae through YouTube. He did like a rap parodies on. It wasn't like his channel. He was just like a guest on it. I think it was called Love Live Serve or Long Live Serve or something like that. And it was like these two like dudes, like college kids with a YouTube page.
Right.
And one of them was like a Little Pump like rap parody, and they had Corday on it, and he was just as Little Pump. I found out, and then like, you know, in the description where it's like, oh, go support Corday's music, here's his links to shit. At the time, he wasn't going by Corday. He was going by Entendre. I think it was Entendre or Entendre.
Okay.
And he had like this mixtape called like Anxiety, I think, and it was like his face, but like there was no eyes or anything, and it was like a pink background and shit like that.
Okay.
And he had like this song called All Those Glitters Ain't Gold. You can still find this shit today, like on YouTube.
Right.
But you would just have to like dig for it.
You gotta dig for it. All right.
But and that was like 2015, 2016, maybe 2017, around that range. So I was listening to like Entendre for like a year.
Right.
And I hit him up for a feature. I DM him and stuff. We get a song together. And then I noticed he changed his name from Entendre to YBN Corday. I didn't know like he was part of YBN at the time. I thought it was just, like him just doing like a joke type shit. And then I saw like a Noisy documentary where he's like with like YBN Amir and YBN J and stuff like that. But anyway, I released like that EP like in February of 2016, 2017.
Right.
Like 2-3 months later, I see him on World Star doing that J. Cole thing. And I was like, damn. Dude, but I was also like, fuck.
That shit went off.
Yeah.
He dropped that right after. Like, I was anticipating someone doing something to clap back at J. Cole.
Yeah.
Because J. Cole basically sent shots at every young rapper that
I just want to
exists.
say he's right, bro. Look at Smoke Perp and Lil Pump now. But
You're right.
Yeah.
That's true.
And I love Smoke Perp. But I was like,
really?
Damn. Yeah, I
I
like a lot of ignorant shit, but I also like a lot of conscious shit too. I think that's why my music's the way it is.
So I think I've said this many times. I think Smoke Perp is better than Lil Pump. Smoke Perp should have got the clout that Lil Pump got.
I agree. I've always been like that too, where like I choose like the less popular one to like.
Right.
Like with X and Ski, I was like, I like Ski.
Ski's got the flow. Ski's sound and flow is just insane.
This is like an older rap group, but fucking, what is it called? The Lokes? Like the one with, no, that's not the Lokes. I forgot the name. Fuck. But it's like with Styles P and Jadakiss and shit like that. I always like Styles P more than Jadakiss. Like I was always like weird like that, where like I always choose the lesser guy or like the less popular one.
Right.
So yeah.
What did you? Okay, so let's go back to my original question. Out of all of the new guys in the last 3-4 years, right? Who is it that really stands out as like the one who's going to last through their career? Because everyone's right now, you know, Drake is on his 11th or 12th year.
Everyone's acting like Drake's slowing down. I'm like, bro,
I don't think
he's
he
not.
is either.
He hasn't slowed down. I'm like,
but I still think there needs to be someone who's going to pop off as big as Drake did 10 years ago, 12 years ago, right? Someone's going to have to, you know, sustain a career the same way that he has. Who do you think it is? Who's promising to you?
I'm not really sure who would be like necessarily like the next Drake. I do see like a couple rappers that are coming up where I'm like they're going to be around for a decade for sure.
Who?
Denzel Curry, he's been around since like a while.
Right, he's been around for a minute.
I already feel like out of that like 2016 freshman class, if you look at it, it was like him, Yachty, 21 Savage, and shit like that.
Savage
like,
surprised me. 21 Savage surprised me.
I love 21 Savage, and like he's still like around. Like there's some rappers where like I didn't expect to be around that lasted long.
Right.
Like I like Uzi more now, but when he was first coming up, I was like, I don't think he's gonna be around. And he's still around, but I think it's partly because like he took so many years in between projects.
Drop an next project,
But still, like Yachty's kind of still around. He's not as relevant as he was when he was coming up, but like he's still kind of around. But
I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm not the biggest Uzi fan.
I'm not the biggest Uzi fan either.
There's something about
I totally get it. Like I get why like kids my age and younger like love him
into it, right?
Because I see him more as like a persona than like an artist. I'm like, I get it. Like fuck the rap shit. I'm like, that's little Uzi Vert. Like I totally like his whole image and shit.
He's got his whole thing going on. Yeah, and people are really bought
his shows look crazy too. Like I think it was like Rolling Loud. Like he just jumps off like a couple stories like into the crowd. Like it's crazy.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I was never really big into Uzi or Yachty.
I didn't
that
like
whole
Yachty
2015, 2016, those two classes. There really wasn't anyone that like really popped out to me right when they came out. Like I said, 21 Savage surprised me because I didn't expect him to have as good of a career as he has so far. But for the most part, And that's another thing about the freshman classes. I really don't like Double XL, man.
Yeah.
I can't get behind a lot of the shit that they do, a lot of the like artists that they try to put on.
They've been bad for like a while now, but
yeah.
I feel like
maybe pre 2013 and back, they were decent. They were picking up some good musicians, but
I think they're about to like die off because like
really?
I feel like people I think it's still gonna be around, but I'm like when they announced like Double XL like this year, everyone kind of forgot about it. They're like, oh shit, this still exists. Like I noticed that, and like I know like since like 2015, 2016, it was progressively getting to that point,
right?
And I feel like now I don't know if it's. I mean, it could have been partially because COVID's going on. Like, who the fuck gives a fuck about a freshman cover when COVID's going on,
right?
But I'm like, I think it's getting to that point where like it's not as relevant as it was, and there's plenty of artists that have turned down the freshman and are still like Drake turned down the freshman list. Fucking A$AP Rocky turned it down. Earl turned it down. Like, there's many people that could have been on that freshman list, and we're like, nah, I'm not. I don't need a cover.
So, what do you think is the gold standard for an artist, for a rapper? Like, how do you know? Right? How do you get yourself to that level where you know that you're the shit, you're doing it right, you have a fan base?
I feel like if you got a fan base and you're making money, you're already won. Like this is like a personal thing. I'm like, I don't think you should be looking for a plaque or like a Grammy.
Okay.
But I'm like, I get it if that's like, because some people have that goal, but I'm like, that's not one of my goals. I joked with this with like one of my friends. I was like, if I get a plaque, I'm eating tortellini off it. If I get like a Grammy, I'm probably gonna drink chocolate milk out of it or some shit, because I really just don't care. It's like, I don't know, like who needs an award for like music? It's music,
right?
So, like this is more about like critics, but like me and my friend was talking about it, and he was like, I get why we need food critics, but why do we need music critics?
What's the difference?
I feel like,
because like it's just, so I'll play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
To me, you need a food critic because some food can really taste like shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I would think that there's some music out there, but I guess you're right. You know what I mean? I guess to some sense or another, music is more subjective than food is.
Yeah.
Like music would be a little bit more of a, like, something that doesn't sound great 10 years ago might sound awesome to people now. People pick up on a sound that they didn't used to like, and now it's moving in a direction where it becomes a standard.
Yeah.
I think about XXX.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When XXX dropped Look at Me.
Yeah.
The distortion on that, all that stuff. Like a lot of the EDM producers that were around me were just like, like, what the hell is this? Like, who put that much distortion on a song?
But now, like, you see that, and it's like, now it's supposed to be like that.
Right. And now,
like, I know mastering engineers are like struggling with that, because it's like, because a mastering engineer's job is like, it's different than a mixing engineer. A mixing engineer is just making sure the levels are good. Mastering, it's like, okay, how loud do I want this overall song to be? So now they got all this distortion shit in the mix, and they're looking at it like, I want to make this louder, but if I do, then this shit's going to go like peak and everything. So
it's going to blow people's ears out.
But like, I love that, because I'm one of those people where I'm like, I might not know like all the music theory shit in the world, but I'm one of those people, I make music more off like a feeling.
Do you have like a setup for your studio? Is there any, do you have any like juju pieces, like any things you need to have with you?
I mean, I got a nice mic. I got like a AKG like C414. That's like a $700-800 mic.
So that's like your piece.
Yeah, but I'm like, I don't mix shit. I just like record at my crib. Right. Like, and I got like the monthly like rental on Pro Tools, and I just do it off like a laptop.
Right.
Like I got like a little mini. I mean, not right now. I got to reset that up. But like,
right.
I got to set up like a home studio setup. Yeah.
Anything other than your mic you like to keep on you?
There's like, I got monitors, and it's nothing like too crazy. It's just like a mic, an interface, and like monitors and headphones. That's like it. You don't need crazy. You don't even honestly need monitors. That's just me being extra. Like, you can do like, if it's home recording, you can do a lot with like bare minimum shit.
Just like headphones.
Yeah, especially if you know what you're doing too. But I'm like, even if you don't, like, YouTube, like
that's one of the things I actually struggled with early on with the podcast, with the audio, was like my computer speakers. I was like, I feel like I'm not editing this properly on my computer speakers, and I didn't want to go get studio monitors.
Yeah.
So I just bought some like M50Xs, the Audio Technicas, and it's been helping a lot.
Yeah.
So you're right. Like you definitely can do a lot with a little.
Yeah.
You don't need a whole lot. And that's another thing. Music is so accessible to people now as far as like being able to have the things necessary to make music. I feel like anybody has the access to make music. So it says a lot about your point on like music is a feeling. Like, why do we need music critics, right? When it's so accessible to people, everyone can kind of share their essence, the essence of what kind of music they are, how they feel. And it's like I said, more accessible.
Yeah. Like also kind of like back to the thing about like critics and stuff. Like people on their own can figure out if they like it or not. I feel like a critic's review could definitely make or break someone's career. Like, I don't know. Also, I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like a lot of people that are like blog writers or people that like talk about or critique music, I feel like at one point in time, they probably were doing music or trying to, and it just didn't work. And now you kind of just not to be a dick, but I'm kind of like, bro, like.
Now you're just trying to hate on people's grind.
Because like I see. Like, I hate Anthony Fantano, like, with a passion.
Okay.
Because, like, he just be talking about music, and I'm like, bro, what are you even talking about?
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'd be like, bro, I want to bring you to a studio, and, like, I'll give you as many resources as you can. Here's a bunch of studio musicians. Here's some of the best producers. Here's some of the best engineer. You got 4 hours. Make me what you can.
Right.
I'm like, it's not easy. Like, whether you're good at music or bad at music, it's not, like, easy.
It's not easy to put together at the end of the day. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where are you going to be at in 5 years?
I'm 20 now, so in 5 years, I hope to have like my own crib. Hopefully at that point, I'll be like in the process of about to start like my own business. Because I've always wanted to own like a warehouse, but it's like a non-stop shop for like creativity. Like you can host shows there because it's like a big ass warehouse. You can have recording studios. You have an A and B. You can have like a photography room for editing, have a room where it's a green screen or a big white wall or some shit.
Right.
You have like a t-shirt print shop to help people make merch and stuff like that. Like I always wanted to do some cool shit like that. Maybe like I have like for the kids that are in high school, like after school program.
Right.
Where like they can like fuck around on Logic or GarageBand and see. Like,
that'd be huge, man. Especially if you do it in the right area, man. Get kids out of the streets and stop them from doing dumb shit. And
part of the reason, like I grew up in a rough area. Part of the reason why I didn't end up too bad is like I was in sports or I was doing shit after school. Because if I would have just went to school and went back home, who knows how I would have
been hella bored, try to find something to do, and then get yourself in trouble.
Yeah,
that's normally how it happens, man.
Yeah,
that's a good goal to have. I think anybody who's starting the business in the next 10 to 20 years should definitely always be thinking about how they can help the youth, right? How they can help kids and get them off the streets in any way possible. Help educate them about different things. One of the things did you go to high school out here?
Yeah, I'm like born and raised out here. Yeah.
Okay. So they started cutting when, so I'm 23.
Yeah.
They started cutting a lot of the arts programs and stuff like that around the time that I was like a freshman, sophomore. And it was such a bummer because you're sitting there and you're like, okay, kids already hate going to school. Most of the time they're not getting along with their teachers. They're not interested in the topics that they're learning about. And if they are, it's maybe one class a day that they're enjoying. Yeah. And then they're looking forward to doing the after school like the extracurriculars. Because like, let's be honest here, most people's parents can't afford to let their kids do extracurricular activities. Either the kids got to work to save up some money and get the stuff they need to do it, or they go to extracurriculars after school. Yeah,
like maybe you're like, even if you're not like an artistic kid, like I remember like clubs being a thing at school.
Right. Student government, debate club.
There's a bunch of shit. I mean, depending on the school.
Home ec, like all that different kind of shit. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think that's one of our biggest pitfalls is the fact that we don't allow enough opportunity for kids under the age of like 18. Once you're out of high school, it's different. Once you're out of high school, I feel like people need to be able to explore different things on their own, right? Like you need to go out there and search for different things to experience. But under 18, when you're in middle school and high school, I think we need to be doing more as a society to push people or push kids specifically to like try a lot of different things. I feel like a lot of depression and anxiety and shit comes from people just not knowing anything else. They don't know what else
For
to
sure.
try.
Like I have like plenty of friends or like people that I know or like they don't like do anything. And not like a knock on that. We're still young.
Right.
But I'm kinda like I feel like everyone should have like some type of hobby.
Right. I agree.
Like
I agree.
especially like to tune out all the bullshit. Cause bro, like all this shit is autopilot when you're not doing anything for
100%.
yourself. Like go to work, go to sleep, do it again, go to work like for 5 days out of the week.
Right. Make sure you eat.
And then like you're mentally drained and maybe you like spend that weekend just lounging and watching Hulu all day or some shit.
Right.
Nothing's wrong with that, but I'm like, I don't know, you should build a fucking birdhouse to take your mind off of like your shitty life.
Right.
Or like maybe it's not shitty, but off your boring life.
Right.
Or some
right.
shit.
You should. I'm a big proponent of hobbies for everybody, man.
Yeah.
You never know what you fall into. My brother-in-law just got into woodworking.
Yeah.
And like he's been like my dad got a big piece of equipment sent to our house and they sent it in a big crate.
Yeah.
And we broke the crate down to get the thing out of it to move it in the house. And the first thing my brother-in-law asked is, can I have the wood? And he was so excited about having all that wood to be able to work on more projects and stuff.
Yeah.
Like just imagine if everyone had something to look forward to like that.
I definitely believe like every person has like a crazy, unique, talented skill that they either know about or they don't know about because
Right.
they haven't had the time or tried to like tap into it.
Right. And I mean, not everyone has to make a business out of their hobby either.
No,
bro.
like
it's not
you
a
can
thing.
do it. I'm not telling you to be like, just everyone get an LLC right now.
Right,
Everyone
right.
like grind. I'm
Right.
like, nah, sometimes I'm like
You just need peace of mind, bro.
music's kind of like a hobby to me, even though I'm making it a career, but I'm like, I got other shit too, where I'm like, because
Right.
sometimes the music part, because of the business side of things, where I'll be like, man, sometimes I don't like doing this music shit because
Right.
there's all this other bullshit that comes with it. And I got to do some other thing to like take my mind off it. Like I like sports and shit. Like I'll go to a batting cage and like clear my mind type shit.
Right.
So I'm like, not all hobbies are meant to be turned into businesses either. Because I feel like in a way, that's how a lot of people end up hating like what was once a hobby or passion.
Something they enjoyed doing at one point in time.
Because they made it work now instead of a hobby or passion.
Yeah, I feel you. I
Yeah.
feel you. That's for sure. And then there are other times that your hobby should be a business. Like if
Yeah.
you really hate your job, but you really love what you're doing and
Yeah.
people are already catching interest, man, give it a shot. See what
Depends on
happens.
everyone's situation.
That's true. Everyone's different. But one thing we can agree on for sure is that everyone needs to be a little bit more explorative and try to find something they enjoy
Yeah.
doing.
I'm like, maybe you want to like do the race car shit. Maybe just exercising. Like people that make CrossFit their thing. If
That's
that takes
so
your
true.
mind off of things, go ahead and do your
You're
thing,
like, that's
bro.
not me, but
if it brings you happiness and it helps you forget the outside world, all so be it.
you like go ahead.
You ain't gonna catch me doing that shit with you. Don't
You're
invite me.
You're like, be my guest. All right, we're catching up here on like close to an hour.
Damn, that went
But
fast.
yeah, conversation, man. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, this is why I love doing this because a lot of the time it's like I can tell when people are nervous when they come into the room in the first place, or for example, when someone like doesn't know how things are gonna go, they're worried about the conversation, all that different kind of stuff, and then you get into it, and people will tell you everything
Yeah.
in like an hour or two,
Yeah.
and they're like, shit went by hella quick.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we're close to an hour. You got a camera over there. You got a camera over there. Let the people know what you're doing, man. Let them know when the project drops, whatever else you want to plug, whatever you want to talk about. If you got advice for people, whatever it is, man, use both of your cameras and I'll let you get to it.
What's up? No, I'm joking. It's your boy. Yeah, my name's 602 Prophet. You can find me like everywhere under 602 Prophet, like PROPHET, not the money prophet. I know people confuse that sometimes. Got a couple singles coming in like a week or two. I'm sure like by the time you release this, one of them will probably be out.
Yep.
Couple weeks after that, I'm gonna have like a 13-track project called All Sides of the Story. Go check that out. Gonna have some music videos coming in after that. There's gonna be a lot of content this year, and I'm excited. A lot of work has been happening behind the scenes, and now it's about to come to fruition. I don't really got life advice. I'm 20. I'm doing this shit like y'all, just one step at a time. But
One foot in front of the other.
yeah, like just trying not to trip. Like
I feel you.
I just say fuck it all and just do you. That's how I feel. Like I get in trouble because sometimes I'll be like fuck this, fuck that. Not because like I'm trying to be negative in a way, but I'm kind of just like literally like just it don't matter. Just fuck it. Like
Right. As long as you're a good person, you don't hurt nobody else.
yeah, just like
Do your thing.
just do your thing. If you ain't hurting nobody, then You're fine, bro.
Live your life. I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you. I appreciate you coming by, boss.
No problem.
You guys know what it is. We got another episode out for you next Friday as well. Stay tuned in. Make sure to check out Don't Talk to Strangers. Episode 1 is out. Episode 2 should be out by the time this comes out. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe. Click the like button if you like the video. Comment and let me know what you thought of the video. And then go check out a few other ones. Peace out. We'll see you in the next one.
Peace.